Hey there everyone, welcome back to GameVine. My name is Dave, and today we are going to be trekking across the national parks. Let's go. Now, as a disclaimer, this is a review copy from Underdog Games. Thank you so much for your support, really do appreciate it, and I'm pretty excited to look at this game. I like wildlife, and I'm always awe-inspired when I go to, like, the Smoky Mountains, for example. But unfortunately, I don't have the time or the means to go traveling across the nation. But it's done for us in trekking across the nation's park. Now, this game, we could live vicariously by taking our little pieces and trekking across the various parks, camping in some of them, and gaining points through other ones. And this is a family weight game, and this is the second edition, so this does change a few of the rules and some of the components actually. But if you have the first edition of this game, it's pretty much the same thing with just a few minor tweaks. And the gameplay is a lot of card-based gameplay, a little bit, just a tiny bit like Ticket to Ride, and the board actually kind of looks like that, but it's its own thing actually. So without further ado, let me show you the fantastic production. This is a heavy box, and then I'll show you how to play at least the basics, and then I give you my opinion. Let's go. Alright, so this is what comes in the box. First, I want to give a shout out to Terry and John. They took a trip and visited all the national parks, and wow, what a feat. I bet that was just a incredible experience. And then they made a board game for everybody, so we can live vicariously through them, because look how beautiful all this stuff is. Now, this is the second edition. I mean, look at all this. I've never been to a national park, so seeing this kind of stuff is just wonderful for me. So like I said, this is a second edition, and they've changed a few things. I'm not going to go over that too much, but know that this has a bit more wood products, and these things right here, the little beads, have changed from glass to plastic, and there's a variation of the size of cards and what comes on the board. But let's go into what the second edition brings. Now, these looks just like sprees, do they not? Look like you can just pop these in your mouth and just have a tasty time. But don't do that. Do not do that. And other things that I appreciate, they gave you extra stone just in case you lose them. Heck yeah, and they gave you a bumper sticker so you can put this on the car when you're visiting national parks. And you got the first player marker with the bear token, little tints and player colors of all of them. And they have a green color. I love that they have a green color. And then they have every size of cards. So these ones are the giant ones, the actual parks themselves, and have great art on them. Just beautiful art. And the iconography doesn't get in the way of that. And then you have regular size card. Now, none of these are linen finish, but their thickness is good. And they've got a good feel to them. They're not bad. But then they have fun size cards. You know how I feel about fun size cards. But the good thing is you don't use these very often, so it's not a big deal. And they did change the bag. I think this is now a brown kind of pleather bag. And then, of course, we have the board that you'll see here just in a second. But that is what comes in the box. I really do appreciate the little pieces that they added. It's just a sweet kind of gesture to the board game community. Thank you for that. All right, so now let me show you how to play this game, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so this is the game set up for 3 players here. Now, the name of the game is to get as many points as you can. Now, these stones are going to be worth points at the end of the game. There are cards here that who have the most of each stone for the first most and the second most. You get points that way. You also get points for camping out at these national parks here and or getting park cards. The points are down here displayed. Essentially, that's how you get points. Now, the way that you do that is you're going to be trekking across the nation from park to park. And everybody will take a turn and play will pass. That bear token up there is just the first player marker. So, the first thing that you can do is move. You have a hand of cards, and basically they have numbers on them, and those numbers represent how many times that you can move, and you can play as many cards as you want. So if I play these 2 cards here, I have the ability to move 5 places, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I end a space, I get the stone. Now, the caveat is when it comes to moving, you can never move through another player. But you can stop on the space that they are, and that will kind of do a take that kind of sorry aspect and bump that person back to the start player. Another rule is you can't go back and forth. So once you go here, you can't go back to the city, and you can't go back and forth through this route. So you kind of gotta do your thing going forward. But other than that, you can move as many times as you have cards and numbers there. Another thing you can do on your turn is you can play cards that have these emblems here. Now, as you can see, you can have cards over there, and you can draw the top card from here randomly if you want on your turn, or you can take one of those cards over there. Now, if 4 of the same color ever appear, kind of like Ticket to Ride, you'll wipe those cards and then play new ones. But these cards have different emblems on them, and if you're at the Grand Canyon, which this red player is really close, you can play the cards like the 2 Stompies, the 2 boots, and then you can put your camp token here, which basically you'll be getting points for the Grand Canyon and camping out here. And they also give you a special ability which will help you out in the game, which I'm not going to go too much over right now. Now you can do the same with these parks here. You can go to the Great Smoky Mountains and then play these 4 cards here and get 10 whopping points, and this card actually goes away and you will replenish it here. Unlike camping out at the national parks, will get replenished and go away. And like I said, getting the stones on your turn will give you 1 point for each stone you have at the end of the game. But I would say getting these cards here are a great strategy because they're quite a lot of points, but every strategy is valid. This one right here, Theodore Roosevelt, man, he was an awesome guy. But that's essentially it. You'll be trekking across the nation, getting stones, and the game will end when all the stones from the map here have been gathered, or someone has gathered the 5th park card, and then everybody will play out their last turn and calculate the points. That's when you'll hand out the 1st and 2nd most for each of the color stones. You'll count up all the points where everyone has camped out here and all your cards that you have in your hand. See who the winner is, and that is essentially it. Really easy to teach, really easy to grasp. Now let me tell you what I think about this game and give it a grade. Let's go. That's how you play Trekking the National Parks, and go ahead and give this game a grade. It gets an 88 from me. It's almost at the Must Play It award, but it does get the GameFind Play It award. I kind of want to give it bonus points, but you know, I think 88 is a great grade for this. It's a lighter game than what a gamer might want, but let me go over all the fantastic perks about this game. The thing about this is, I feel as if the demographic for this game is incredibly fast. I can see this game in a Dick's Sporting Goods or a Bass Pro Shop or a Target. This can go pretty much anywhere. The art on the box is beautiful. The concept of the game is so easy to teach and relate to. You're off and running within like 2 minutes, basically, if you're sitting down at the table. Now, the real estate of this game is vast. The meeples are giant and the board is pretty big, so that could be a hindrance in some people's eyes, but I like production, so I was all for it. I like the point salad mechanism of the games. I was really surprised that there wasn't a runaway winner of this game, no matter what strategy they went with. If they went with all stones and trying to get that tactic, or if they went with trying to get the 5 parks first and camping at the first national parks to get some more points. And the replayability of this game is awesome because of everything that it's randomized, the cards, the stones. You can play this game differently from the last game that you played, especially if you're on like a portion of the board that has a whole bunch of like yellow stones, and you're like, ooh, I can get all these yellow stones and then go grab a few parks that I'm near and set up your own strategy, and it can be completely different in the next game that you play. I mean, like I said, there is a little resemblance of Ticket to Ride when it comes to card play and going through the routes, but this game really does stand on its own. And I love how ornate and lavish the wildlife is displayed on this game. The pictures, again, it kind of draws me in, and it's giving me chills right now. Our nation's wildlife is beautiful, and the fact that I can't get out there and see it myself, but I can actually live it through this game, it works fantastically. You have this cartoon art of the illustration, more of the animals, which works really well, but then you have the actual pictures of the Grand Canyon, which just, I sit there and look at that picture and it just brings, again, I'm getting goosebumps. So I appreciate it so much, and because of that, I think this game is great for gateway gamers who have never played a board game. This is going to be perfect for them, but people who've played games before, or people who are like wildlife enthusiasts, this is a shoo-in. It's without a doubt has to be in their collection. I'm incredibly impressed, especially because this is my first review of an Underdogs game. Now there are tons of trekking games that I'm excited now to play even more because this one went over so well for me. So again, this gets an 88 and it does get the Gamevine Play It Award. Thank you so much, Underdog Games, for providing us with this free copy. We could not have done this video without you, and thank you so much, Vine Nation, for stopping on by for another review. If you like this game, it's going to be in the link below. You can go ahead and pick it up there, and if you like this video, click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next time I see you, I'm Dave, and have a great rest of your day and a great time with all that you play. I recommend you should go pick this one up. It's pretty cool. Bye. Vine Nation, we love making content here for you on the channel, and we're almost at 10,000 subscribers, so subscribe now and help us out. This video right here, I think you'll like. This video right here, YouTube thinks you'll like. Or you can just sit here and watch me dance as a dinosaur for a little bit longer. You can visit us at our social media outlets, and we're going to be improving our Patreon here soon. That's all for today. Miko, it's time to go. Good girl, Miko.